Welcome back to the Queer Sister podcast. My name is Jasmine. I'm bisexual and my pronouns are she, her.
And I'm Natasha. My pronouns are she, her, and I identify as a lesbian.
So, what are we talking about today?
So today, I'm on TikTok all the time, and I know I've talked about TikTok, I feel like enough on this podcast, but like literally I love TikTok. I like the inner Gen Z that I don't have is in me. I feel like I'm a TikToker. But I just see so many, you curate, I don't know, people who don't know TikTok, it's obviously videos. You see the dancing all the time or whatever, but people could just do videos. So like people who knew Vine, it's like longer Vine. So there's a lot of like weird energy. But anyways, so you could curate your basically your For You page, your like timeline. So I've curated mine. It's very, very gay. There's a lot of people of color, Black people, a lot of political stuff is on my For You page. So I see all these gay people on my For You page, and it's just like the same thing where it's like, um, they're looking for a person that they've seen out in public on TikTok. So they'll say like, you guys, I was at the grocery store and this girl, cause quarantine, this girl was wearing a mask and I could just tell she smiled at me because her eyes changed and she was beautiful. She had blonde hair, and they'll say like, you guys, if you're someone in Columbus, Ohio, and you know this girl at the Chevron off of whatever, can you help me find her? Now, I don't know, because this is queer women. So like a straight guy would have just said like, hey, can I have your number or whatever. Why do queer women do this where we ask the internet to help find this girl when you know where she works, or if you were in the area with her? Why didn't you go up to talk to her? And why are you using TikTok to find her? Now, this is not just one video. This is multiple videos I have seen. Help me find this girl. Help me find this girl. I need to find this girl or whatever. Or I've seen people are like, oh, I found this girl on TikTok. We're dating now. Like, so basically what I'm saying is TikTok is the new gay dating site. What do you think about that?
It's funny because a lot of people are jumping off Tinder and jumping off Bumble. They don't want to meet people that way anymore, and it tends to be. I hear more and more of it that people are finding each other on social media. So it's funny that it's TikTok, especially for the younger generation. I think primarily they're seeking ads for people in TikTok and trying to find people classified.
I just realized that it is like the 90s version of a classified ad. I met this person at the, I don't know her name, and if you had brown hair and a Walu, what is it, Waliji, what is the name? I don't even know the name. Like a Mario mask. Can you please find me? Like, it really is that. That's funny.
But I don't know. I think it's interesting that they chose that and not that there are other apps out there. I think the Lex app where it's all text based. There's no photos, and people put like ads for everything. It's not just for dating. It's for people who just want to like meet up and like hang out. Maybe not not during pandemic times, but they it's for anything like collaboration or working on something or doing something like on Zoom online, just chatting with people. And I think it's just another place where people can come together as a community and sort of connect with people. So I don't hate it. It's another way to connect with other TikTokers online.
I definitely see what you're saying. Like, they have apps and whatever and dating sites, but you got to remember that the age range of TikTok. Yes, they're like grandpas on there, and there's a lot of like millennials like me. There's people who are up in their 30s. Like, there's different ages, but the people that I usually see, they're Gen Z. So at the most, they're 22. So there's a lot of people who are in like high school age. These people are 16, 17, 18, or whatever. Maybe never dated a girl or whatever the situation may be. They're just coming to terms with their sexuality or whatever it is. And so these are young people. They're not going on Tinder. I think Tinder, you have to be 18, right? They're not, yeah, I don't think you could be 15 on Tinder. I don't know. Really don't know, but I don't think you should be. But anyways, so they're using apps like, it's easier than like a Instagram. I guess you can see someone's pictures and like DM them or whatever. But like with TikTok, you can see a little bit of the personality or whatever. So I've seen a lot of people that are like, yeah, I met on TikTok and yeah, we're dating. We've been dating for whatever, 6 months or whatever. And like, that's great. It's, and I really, really love the like classified ads. Um, but it also falls into the stereotype of lesbians or queer women of like always getting into relationships of long distance because you're over the internet, you're like dating, and like they're saying, oh yeah, I'm going to see this person in like 2 months. Yeah, because she lives um, 2 countries away. She's in Europe. She's in the UK. Yeah, yeah. Like it. Like I don't understand. Like they want to find the furthest person away.
I don't think anybody does it on purpose. It just happens. I want to say that first of all, and then second of all, yeah, like it in the digital age, uh, for and travelers too. You go out and then you meet up with somebody, and it really clicks. In whether it's a relationship, romantically or friendship wise, like I do have a lot of people like on my social media feeds that are, I can only see what they're posting if I'm up in the middle of the night because the sun's up over there when I'm supposed to be asleep. It just happens, but I think it happens because globalization of everything and technology. It makes it so much easier for you to connect with people from everywhere. So it's sometimes it's a happy accident. It makes everything more complicated, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, this is no like no shade, no nothing against it. I'm all for whatever you can to to find someone to date or to make friends with queer people online. And I love that TikTok is using this. That's why I hate that they were trying to ban it for the third, fourth time. Um, but I think, and I think that if we look at it that like, oh yeah, like long distance relationships in the queer community or queer women community, not for gay men, but for women, I guess could be looked at as a good thing because I also saw this thing somebody said, I don't know if it was on Twitter or something, someone was saying, like, just because there's a cute gay person around you doesn't mean you have to date them. And people are like, what? What do you mean? But it's a queer woman and she's cute. Why wouldn't I date her? Like that's the mentality of queer women because, or like queer people in general, because there's less of them or less that are out. And so you find someone, that's why I think in like, if you think about school or junior high or whatever, and like the two gay people who were out dated each other. Didn't mean that they were compatible for each other. They probably stayed together as long as possible because they were the only ones out. As soon as someone else came out, they were probably broken up. Like, but it really was like whoever you can find. So, and I think that that's the messiness of like the stereotype, but it's not really a stereotype of the queer women community that everybody dates their friends and like everybody's dating everybody. Like you're dating your ex's ex and your ex is dating like it's this like whole L word Alice chart type thing. What is it called? The chart called?
I don't remember.
Called. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so like the like that, like everybody's intertwined. So like everybody in your close group dates each other. So the idea of like dating someone out of the state, which I could not do, but like date out of the state or out of the country, like if that's you can do it. I'm not saying nothing negative towards you. That's trust, communication, whatever. That's if you can do it, you can do it. But I like the idea of like maybe out your city or out of your state or whatever because you feel, not always, but you feel maybe those people are a little bit more compatible because the idea of you finding the person you're supposed to be with forever in your hometown or you know what I mean in the city that you're from or whatever, and you guys never went anywhere, which some people that work, that works, and that was somebody your next door neighbor and y'all then that was meant to be, and that's a cute little love story, but that's not for everybody. So I like that idea of we don't have to settle for the one queer person that we know that's out or the one person we find cute. Because I feel like if you look at straight people, they don't date everybody they find cute. Like they date someone, hopefully, they would date someone that they actually have a connection with, that they actually want to be with, type of thing. Like it's not like, oh yeah, he has a cute haircut. And I mean, I guess that's kind of how straight people do. Like he has a cute haircut. He's nice to me once. Like he said hi. But like our standards are really low. Like we should have like higher standards. So I think that that gives us a little bit more higher standards. But I don't know, because a gay woman will fall real quick over a cute face and a nice smile. So I feel like at this point rambling. What you think?
They said it best in the documentary Circus of Books. There was a man there was talking about like how this new generation, we don't have places like Circus of Books where people can go and like find other queer people. Like there's at the beginning of this series of podcast episodes, we talked about that there's no like lesbian clubs out there. There's ladies' night, but there's no space specifically dedicated here in Southern California for women all the time. And there's less and less of those places happening, and then there's less of those casual places where you can meet people. So besides Target for me, I just have the internet.
Yeah.
So it's limiting. It's kind of where it's at. I mean, well, me because I'm inundated with the queer community. Like you said, the only other way if I to like find other queer people is like through other people's exes, like through friends that are queer, and so everybody that you end up dating knows somebody that knows somebody. Like it's all interconnected, and it ends up being that whole L word thing. Like I can probably see how everybody's connected, like in the entire community here, in LA, which is it is what it is. But yeah, it all comes down to because we don't have those open, safe spaces for those people to meet.
Yeah, I need people to tell me other than TikTok, because I don't need to go on TikTok because there's too many young Gen Zs on there. I'm not no. Like I go on TikTok because I like TikTok, but I'm not going on there to find some a date or something like that. I don't need that. But like, what other places? I feel like this is. I mean, not I guess for you, but also for the audience. What other places do like queer women? Because like gay men just go on Grinder, or they can. I mean, they can use other apps like Tinder or whatever if they want a serious relationship or whatever. I don't know, Bumble. I don't know, or Hinge or. But like for queer women that maybe outside of dating apps, where do they go? Because like you said, they don't have the clubs or the bars or.
Well, me personally, I'm an editor and writer for the Q26. We do events all throughout the year. Before the pandemic, they were in person. Now they're online. Now you can connect with other queer people.
Tell people what Q26 is, though.
Q26 is a creative collective. We have a magazine called Q Type that comes out 3 times a year, and we have we do creative services for people digitally, like anything from top-down marketing, and we provide space and events and try to give back to the community all the time, especially people of color in the queer community. So it's definitely like a platform or a first stop to sort of meet other queer people. You can meet them in the comments. You can meet them at the events. You can read about other inspiring queer voices in our magazine. I think people, especially just entering into the LGBTQ space, that's a good start. Or finding other organizations like that, heading to your LGBT community center in your major metropolis. I just find myself just how I did with the hiking community. I found a bunch of groups on Instagram, and then I showed up to one of the events and started hiking with people, and then I started meeting really cool, amazing friends. And even through just doing what I like to do, you meet other people, you start talking to people, and then you realize, hey, there's queer people out there too, hiking. And then then you have those two things in common. Yes, you're both queer. Now you're hiking. So just putting yourself out there, entering in those spaces. It all starts with, a lot of it for me is Instagram. Just start searching online, and that's how you can enter into the space.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But also, I also see that for queer women of color, because I've seen someone talk about this, that for maybe white men, it's very easy to like for them to like meet each other, but also they have gay bars and like men of color can still enter those spaces. Maybe whatever they feel comfortable with, but and like there's white women who go in there, but they still don't have like a queer woman space. But especially for queer women of color, they feel like they have no space. And I heard this person say that the only way that they know what's going on in the community is knowing somebody. And I like you were saying, knowing somebody. But if you're new to the community and you know nobody, and I guess you could, like you said, go through the Instagram and stuff like that. But then you feel very alone if you have no idea even how to start that. So I guess that's why people would be like looking up on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or whatever. And so I think we go back into the TikTok aspect of you see people like you, follow people, interact with them, DM them, and be mutual friends with these people because they're trying to find their community. So I love that these apps, and that's why I love social media. That Twitter, you can have a friend for 10 years on there and you've never even met them. You know what I mean? And how do you define a friendship or whatever, but if you've interacted with them, then you know things about them and whatever, you guys are friends. So I think it's cool to like, yeah, I guess meet friends, have a solid group of people, and then they know people, you know people, and then start interacting and dating with those. Don't straight up date the person, the first group of friends that you have. It's messy. If you want to do it, go ahead. But kind of get your foundation, get your little footing in there. Because if you date the only people, your only connection to the queer community, if y'all break up, that's your only connection. So make sure that you get a strong foundation of people and friends. Unless you really, really like that person, go ahead. But like get some friends outside of that person. So it's not like a toxic situation where it's just you depending on them and you maybe stay in a relationship longer than it needs to be because that is your one connection to the community. So that's why I'm saying you can get with whoever you want, whatever feels right. But just knowing that and having a connection to the community as well is really important.
Yeah, and even if you, like you said, you did date the first person that you know of the queer community, and you guys break up and it ends horribly, just remember that queer people are everywhere. They're all over the world. They may not all be out, but there's plenty more people out there.
We're looking at you, Taylor Swift.
they're out there. You just have to maybe open yourself up a little bit more and search and find. I mean, do so cautiously, but yeah, like don't give up if you haven't met any other queer person yet. They exist. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I have some. I don't want to say a lot, but I have some queer friends. I'm not as active in the queer community, like in events and stuff, to go and do things. And especially, I can't do that now. But like, I think most of them honestly were from you, really. Like it's your friends and whatever. Like the people that I know personally that weren't from you were people who identify as queer or bisexual, but maybe haven't really done anything, which still means they're queer or bisexual, but that they're in like like okay, we're not saying heterosexual. They're in a queer relationship with a man. They're in a relationship with a man.
I mean, a opposite sex relationship.
Yeah, they're in a relationship with a man. They're still queer, but they're in a relationship with a man, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they're like these people. They're locked down. They're gonna get married. Like you know what I mean? They're not going out with me to a gay bar or whatever. So like I don't have that. So if y'all out there, I'm looking for some queer friends. Let's hang out. I mean, obviously, when this Corona is over with and done with, let's like hang out. I'm a good time. I'm fun. Great time. Life of the party. If you want to be a life party, we could be life parties together.
This became an ad for.
Yeah, this became an ad. Really, if we're gonna have a queer podcast, we might as well ask for some queer friends. I don't have enough. You don't count, Jasmine. But yeah, like so I definitely like that would be great. That like strong connection to, because I felt really great when I had black friends, like a strong group of black friends. You feel a little bit closer to your identity with that, or like strong friends in whatever community, be like a teacher friends, or your whatever. You have friends in your community to make you, feel connected to it, and you go and you do whatever events. So I want to be able to do that, and I feel like you come into your own, and you can feel free to express your sexuality and your queerness with other queer people. The same thing with me being a black woman. When I'm around black people, I feel so proud of all that melanin. And this is no disrespect to anybody else who's not black, but that melanin is such a rich power behind it. And I get so inspired and thing. Like, I know we don't want to date this, but I'm off topic. When I saw Kamala talk as a black woman last night, oh my gosh, I cried because that blackness came out. So just is the same way with the queer side of me, where you feel proud, and like you don't need someone to feel proud, but like to be around somebody and you feel connected to people, and I need that. So that's why I'm asking. That's all it is. This ain't a plea of something for help. I saw I'm just asking. It's great to have queer friends. So that's all. But anyways, that's all I had to say.
All right. So if anybody's interested, hit up Natasha. She wants a queer friend.
Natasha, wait, should I put my ad? Just all queer sister podcast.
Just ask Natasha. I know where to send it to. Anyway. All right. On that note, yeah. Thanks for listening to the Queer Sister podcast. My name is Jasmine. And
I'm Natasha. Yeah, when we do a next one.
Bye. Bye.
Looking to start your own podcast? Buzzsprout is the easiest way to go about creating a professional podcast. Natasha and I, along with more than 100,000 other podcasters, use Buzzsprout to seamlessly get your podcast onto every major podcasting platform. You get a really cool website, podcast players that you can use on other sites, detailed analytics, and a whole host of tools to promote your episodes. If you're ready to get started on your own show using Buzzsprout, click the affiliate link in the show notes to get a $20 Amazon gift card and to help support the show. Thanks.